पुरस्ताद्भविता प्रतीत औदालकीरारुणिर्मत्प्रसृष्टः सुखं रात्रिशयिता वीतमन्युः त्वां दृशिवान् मृत्युमुखात् प्रमुक्तम् स्वर्गे लोके न भयं किञ्चनास्ति न तत्र त्वं न जरया बिभेति उभे तीर्त्वा अशनाया पिपासे शोकातिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके सत्त्वमग्निं स्वर्ग्यमध्येषि मृत्यो प्रब्रोहितं श्रद्दधानाय मह्यम् स्वर्गलोका अमृतत्वं भजन्ते एतद्वितीयेन वृणेवरेण प्रते ब्रवीमि तदुमे निबोध स्वर्ग्यमग्निं नचिकेतः प्रजानन् अनन्तलोकाप्तिमथो प्रतिष्ठां विद्धि त्वमेतन्निहितं गुहायाम् लोकादिमग्निं तमुवाच तस्मै या इष्टकायावतीर्वा यथा वा स चापि तत्प्रत्यवदद्यथोक्तम् अथास्य मृत्युः पुनराहतुष्टः तमब्रवीत् प्रीयमाणो महात्मा वरं तवेहाद्य ददानि भूयः तवैव नाम्ना भवितायमग्निः शृङ्काञ्चे मामनेकरूपां गृहाण त्रिणाचिकेतस्त्रिभिरेत्यसन्धिं त्रिकर्मकृत्तरति जन्म मृत्यु ब्रह्मजज्ञं देवमीड्यं विदित्वा द्विचाय्ये मां शान्तिमत्यन्तमेति त्रिणाचिकेतस्त्रयमेतद्विदित्वा य एवं विद्वांश्चिनुते नाचिकेतं स मृत्युपाशान् पुरतः प्रणोद्य शोकातिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके एष तेऽग्निर्नचिकेतः स्वर्ग्यो यमवृणीथा द्वितीयेन वरेण एतमग्निं तवेव प्रवक्षन्ति जनासः तृतीयं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व।
हरि ओम। The last couple of satsangs we got away from the text, the Kathopanishad. The last fortnight ago, also when we did the 15th mantra, we spoke of the second boon which Lord Yama is granting, the ability to perform yajna. So the Lord explains the concept of the fire worship, the ritual. As we understand that the ritual can be approached from a perspective of the karma kanda, or can be looked at it from a perspective of the jnana kanda. The karma kanda ritual has a limitation, but the jnana kanda, which is to intellectualize, is to relate the relevance of the yajna into our day-to-day life, has a far greater significance, has a far greater application. The yajna is just a means to convert every action, every effort into worship. Whatever you do, whatever effort you put in, whatever you strive to achieve, it is only to convert and translate it into an offering to the Lord, so that in the process of converting your action into worship, you evolve. Now, there's one essential point that we all must remember. And we got to ask, and I ask, so that you keep asking yourself, when is it that an action gets converted into worship? When is it that it gets converted? The real growth is in converting action into worship. And I must assure you, and I speak from the very bottom of the cave of my personality, the very core of my personality, that I'm not sparing any effort in converting every act of mine into worship. Perhaps there's no cell in my body that doesn't resonate of that goal. There's no sweat that gets expressed without the intention of converting into yajna. I'm doing it. So should we all do it? But the question is, when is it that the action gets converted into worship? In fact, the only way you can understand it more clearly is, when is it that an action doesn't get converted into worship? It's the flip side of it. You answer, you get the answer to the other side. When is it that action doesn't get converted? See, the moment you relax, the moment you take your focus off that, the moment you compromise, that very moment you relax, that very moment you take your concentration off that idea of converting, that very moment the ego creeps in. That very moment your individuality creeps in. That very moment the ahankar creeps in. That very moment the doer creeps in. And that very moment your action gets spoiled. That very moment it destroys it all. So when your ego, in the form of the doer, in the form of the doership attitude, the form of the very individuality, the I, my life, my priorities, my interests, moment this I and my and the ego creeps in, it spoils that spirit of yajna, or the possibility of converting action into worship. And that creeps in the moment you relax, the moment you compromise your attunement to that concept of yajna. So you must be ever in tune to this concept of converting action to yajna. If you're not alert and you relax, the thought of ego comes in, and then it spoils it all. And I'm reminded of the simple example story of the Arab and the camel. The camel is the ego, the Arab is the self. The question is whether you are feeding the camel or you're feeding the self. You know the simple innocuous story. The Arab, sitting on the camel's back, had a very long day in the harsh desert. End of the day, both were exhausted. So they decided to camp that evening, and the Arab carried a small tent, which was just enough for him to sleep that night to protect him from the extreme weather. Because in the deserts, usually it could be scorching hot in the morning, but it gets biting cold late in the evening. So he wanted to protect himself. So he put up his tent and he slept. A few minutes later, the camel drew the attention of the master and said, "Master, you are comfortably sleeping inside, but I'm getting facing the brunt of the cold and the wind. Can I just put my face inside the tent and protect myself, because at least my eyes and ears can get protected?" Yeah, why not? Please come in. So the camel put its head into the tent, and few minutes passed. The camel disturbed the master and said, "Master, thank you very much, but my hump and the back and the tail, they all are freezing. Can I come little more in? My neck also little more?" Yeah, come. The story goes, the camel came inside, the Arab was kicked outside, because there's only room for the Arab, not for the camel. The camel is your big fat ego. Remember this. You think your views are right. You think your thinking is right. You think your emotions mean most to you. You think your personality is everything. Your problems are everything. Your purpose is everything. Is everything revolving around you and I and I and I and I? It is. You got to step apart. You got to take a step aside for yourself and see how pronounced is your ego. The problem is you're so involved with yourself, you're not able to see how much of the ego gets a precedence. And as I said, where there is this role of ego, to that extent, there is no yajna. So one should constantly strive, constantly work with a spirit that everything can go on, everything will go on with or without me. If I stop contributing, you think the institution will stop? Nothing will stop. Tomorrow you say you bid adieu to the institution and say, "I don't want to associate with anymore." You think institution will stop? Nothing will stop. You think institution is going because of me? I stop, the institution will go on. Nothing will stop. Nothing will depend on me. Nobody needs me. The problem is I think I am the person responsible for everything to happen. It's your foolish assuming. It's your foolishness to think that it's happening because of me. So while you strive, while you put every effort into it, remember to constantly liquidate the ego. In fact, don't give any credit to the doer. Give all the credit to the doing what needs to be done. However demanding, however challenging it could be, you should give all your effort to the doing, but not the doer. And if the accent shifts to the doing and disregard the doer, that is the very means of converting action into worship. Carry on your work, and such work will continue to inspire. Such work will be glorious. Such work is truly inspirational. This is the Jnana Kanda of the Yajna. Karma Kanda, I took a reference how it's all uh, detailed of how you need to do to perform Yajna. All right, so this is where we last concluded. I just thought to refresh our thoughts on the concept of converting action to Yajna. We'll take up the 16th mantra, please.
One second, Guruji.
1 second has passed long ago. If you say 1 minute, we will wait. 1 second, we are very impatient. As we stated earlier, that in traditional, as we get to the mantra, in the traditional teaching or the ancient teaching, it has been a tradition that the student repeats what was said by the Guru. Even in modern times, nowadays, you find in certain satsangs, the students are given an opportunity to recap what was said. So it gives an assurance to the teacher that the student has well understood. So in the 15th mantra, which we just referred to, Nachiketa repeated, and Lord Yama was so well pleased with what was said. So the 16th mantra gives the satisfaction and the joy Lord Yama felt after hearing that young boy understood what was said. He gives out the 16th mantra with 2 additional boons he gives, apart from the 3 which he's already promised.
तमब्रवीत् प्रीयमाणो महात्मा वरं तवेहाद्य ददानि भूयः तवैव नाम्ना भवितायमग्निः शृङ्काञ्चे मामनेकरूपां गृहाण
Priyamanaha, being delighted. Mahatma, the magnanimous Lord, spoke to him. The Lord Yama is being qualified here as the magnanimous. I grant this additional boon, which is that the fire ritual will be named after thee. So whoever performs this yajna will be known by the Nachiketa yajna. So those of you who have been performing would know that you have been performing the Nachiketa yajna. And the second of the additional boon, Aneka Rupam Gruhan. Take these multifarious Shrinkan necklace. I offer you a beautiful, valuable piece of jewelry or necklace as an additional boon. Though it seems very simple, there's a beautiful meaning there. Because as if you follow the text, what comes ahead, then you know the context of it. So the acute intelligence and the extraordinary capacity of the student has brought forth a true applause by the teacher. So Lord Yama, in appreciation, grants another pair of boons as bonus. As I said, the first is that this Vedic ritual will be known thereafter as Nachiketa Yajna. You will become so popular. In fact, this very Yajna has been immortalized by your name. Did Nachiketa want that? He did not want it. Yesterday, we met with a good friend and a well-wisher, and as a gesture, gave him an autographed copy of the book. To which he said, Vinayji, you know what you have done? What have I done? I thought I did something wrong. To which he said, you have actually immortalized your words. By putting it in writing, it has become immortalized. If you had not done that, the words would not be immortalized. Now, did I want, when I did that effort, did I want it to be immortalized? I did not want it. So it was so kind of him to say those kind words. Similarly, when Nachiketa asked for the boon and he understood, he was not wanting a proprietorship over the yajna, which was a very old Vedic ritual that being performed. And suddenly the yajna thereafter would be known because none other than Lord Yama is giving a recognition. No ordinary person than Lord Yama, the Lord of Death himself said so. Obviously, it will have a weightage. Who says so is important. Many people may call you great, but if a wise man calls you great, it means a lot, isn't it? In the Gita, it is said. Many people say my guru is great, but do the wise consider him as a great man? The fools may consider, they are enamored. They may say my guru is great. That is not the point. But the Panditaha, a wise man should say that you are so and so. So there is a mention, Tavaiva Nachiketaso Namnam Bhidhanena Prasiddhau Bhavita. Now, all this comes from the Shankara Bhashya. Now, those who read the Upanishad in parallel read the Shankara Bhashya, which is the commentary by the great Adi Shankaracharya. And in that, there is a mention. The ritual will become famous and popular by Nachiketa. No, mantra, the original text may not say so, but the commentaries give a greater interpretation, the meaning. Now, here, the second boon, where he talks of Shrinkan, which is a necklace or the multifarious necklace, Adi Shankaracharya gives two interpretations in his Bhashya. And this is where we surrender to Adi Shankaracharya's foresight. Now, first, obviously, is a valuable necklace of valuable gems. This is straightforward. That doesn't need any great intellect to interpret. Now, the second interpretation is there is another ritual. So the second interpretation is an additional ritual. When one performs, it leads to great meritorious benefits. So when you do certain punya, you may do charity of wealth, you may feed the poor. Like yesterday, Situji was mentioning, he is in Rishikesh now. And he was mentioning in the ashram where he has gone for a camp. It is tradition there, all the rishis in the Rishikesh, around 300-400 people, periodically are invited. They are given annam and they're given some dakshina. So if anybody wants to sponsor 100 sannyasis to feed and give dakshina, it is a ritual. And apparently there's a long queue. You need to book much in advance even to want to. And it's not, it costs a decent amount of money. So if somebody has that bhavana to feed these people, what do you get? Punya. You're doing some meritorious deeds rather than going into a 5-star hotel or a 6-star hotel and celebrating my birthday or my occasion with my family near and dear. You may spend 10 times more in the private bash that you have done for yourself, or you go out into the world and try to serve. So he says, I give you another grant to perform an action which gives you glorious fruits, a means, perhaps a secret to fulfill your hidden desires. In Sanskrit, it is known as sakama karma or sakama upasana. The two words, sakama karma or sakama upasana. Kama is desire. Sakama is when you perform an action with a desire, with a motive. Or sakama upasana. So when you perform, when you worship, or when you go to a place of worship, invariably it is done with a desire, with a want, with an expectation. So you He says, I will give you a boon when you perform this ritual, all your desires get granted. SR, you're following? Your look only tells me something is missing.
No, Guruji. Yes, I'm following.
Huh? Following. So what are the two boons that he's got, additional two boons? I'm following Upanishadic style. You please repeat what was said.
Got stuck. No, I stuck.
Ain't sir? I thought, what are the two additional boons which are being mentioned in this mantra? Where is the difficulty? Okay.
No, we just
Show the
getting
translation. No problem. Show the, sir. The translation perhaps will help you again. So what are the two boons? Nachiketa is being showered.
that is the boon one, Guruji, where he'll be named with Nachiketa is the
Correct.
one.
Yes.
And next is
And
this
this,
multifarious necklace.
correct. So two boons. First boon is straightforward. Second boon, we gave two interpretations. The first interpretation is taking actually as a necklace, a beautiful piece of jewelry. But that's not the thing. The second interpretation to the second boon is, that's where we want clarity. What did you understand of that?
That is the karma karma.
What is that?
I lost it, Guruji.
So you said that everything is order, but your expression said
when-
that you are lost. That's the reason I caught you there.
When we're listening, it's amusing, Guruji.
So it was very should not be difficult.
So we made a
to
note, but
get
I
that.
got left up. Yeah.
Yeah, no issue. So the second interpretation to the second boon is he is giving him an additional ritual. So when many people perform this ritual or perform any act or you worship the Lord, as we all know, many people have a malice in their mind. They perform that ritual with a
With a desire.
desire. But is there a guarantee your desire will be fulfilled?
No.
If every devotee goes to the Lord and prays and every wish of his gets fulfilled, what's the percentage? I don't know. But it's not necessary. Every desire that you ask to the Lord fulfills you. It doesn't happen. But here he says, I will give you this additional boon where you perform this ritual and whatever desire you want, you do it, it will get fulfilled. So it's a secret I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Every devotee in the world will want this. Every so-called bhakta will say, oh, give me this boon. Whatever I want, I will get it fulfilled. Because they are approaching the Lord with a sakama upasana. Sir, nobody goes to Lord to seek the Lord. Everybody goes to the Lord to seek something from the Lord other than the Lord. That's the fundamental difference between a true devotee and one who goes to God to seek something for himself. But here he says, whatever you ask, that you seek through this ritual gets fulfilled. Okay?
Okay, got it.
Now, what's interesting, now all this may seem straightforward. Now, looking into the context of the dialogue between Nachiketa and Yama, in the Valli 2, we are in the first Valli. So In the second Valli, either interpretation you give to the second boon, whatever interpretation you take it, the necklace or the ritual, what did Nachiketa do? Nachiketa refused the second of the bonus boons because he was not interested in any worldly affairs. He was not interested in any worldly gifts or offerings that Lord was showering on him. So, chapter 1, Valli 2, mantra 3. We are in the first Valli, in the second Valli. So, second chapter of the first section, put it that way. First section, chapter 2, mantra 3. Nachiketa has refused. There is a mention of his rejection of the second boon. So strong. Shrinka vittamayima navaptaha bahavaha manushyaha majanti. I repeat the Sanskrit words. Shrinka means the path. Vittamayim means the road to wealth. Na avaptaha, not accepted. Bhavaha, many. Manushyaha, men. Majanti, drown. So what does that mean? The words which I just said mean not accepted the road of wealth in which many drown. Look at the vairagya of Nachiketa. Nachiketa is being praised because the Lord said, you have not accepted the road of wealth. He gave him the road to wealth. Whatever you desire will get fulfilled, man. I give you this boon. Take it. You have not accepted the road of wealth in which many men drown and sink. This is the actual interpretation of the section 1, chapter 2, mantra 3. Valli 2, mantra 3. There is this. Now here he is giving the boon. I take ahead to what is coming and bringing you a bird's eye view as to what's to come. Then you know the context. Now, why do you think Lord Yama is doing all this? As you know, Ramji, do you remember the backdrop so far? More so, 3 boons were sought, and Lord Yama has accepted to give all 3 boons. Do you know what are the 3 boons that Nachiketa is asking, which we took a reference, though the 3rd boon has not come. The first 2 have already been addressed. Do you know what are the 3 boons?
No, sir.
So very clear, sir.
I've lost a few classes, so I didn't
I thought so.
catch up. I didn't catch up.
No issues, sir. Okay, so I wouldn't.
But I have a question, sir, if you don't mind. This
Questioner.
The second boon that he is given, that whatever motive you will have for your yajna will be fulfilled. He could have used it for his spiritual journey only, no? Why will it be used only for materialistic pleasures? He could have used it for enhancing his spiritual journey. He could have used it towards self-realization.
This is where so your question stems because you don't have answer to my question.
Maybe possible.
I'm drawing a connect because when you take the parent 3 boons which were granted, the additional 2 boons are insignificant because that's the main interest of Nachiketa.
Okay.
You get it? But
Okay.
I would answer this question by when I mention the first 3 boons, this gets answered.
Okay.
So please allow me to clarify
Yeah.
with
Sure,
others who have an idea what the 3 boons are. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Jay. Right, Jay. Shivaji, what are the 3 boons?
Said his father should accept him back.
First boon is the father should be
accept him
appeased
back.
because he's very disturbed when he left. First appease him, give him shanti. And also when I go back, I should be accepted as normal. Right?
Yes.
Perfect. Second boon?
No, I think I'm not getting it.
Adipudi.
I think that, yeah.
Huh?
Second boon was offered to him as fire ritual, but I don't know whether he sought it. He was given. And he was told that it will be in your name so that.
No. You're mistaking this, which is being said in the
Present.
16th mantra, is being mistaken to that boon which was asked in the 13th mantra. Gayatri Ma, can you please share the 13th mantra, please? Ramji, please take a note of this mantra. Now here, O death, thou knowest the fire ritual which leads one to heaven. Reveal that to me, for I am full of faith. That fire by which those aim at the attainment of heaven attain immortality. I seek this as my second boon. So what is being sought? Hold on to the presentation, PPT. So whatever is being sought here, so the mention of heaven and immortality is not the same of the second additional boon in the 16th mantra. This is different. The second boon in the 16th mantra, second additional boon in 16th mantra is fulfillment of desires. It is sakama upasana. Here the fire as a yajna, as a means to get to Brahman. Either you get to heaven or immortality through yajna. So give me the tool to live a life of yajna. So what's the use of having this knowledge if I don't have the spirit of yajna in me? Tell me. If I am only doing all what I'm doing is to promote myself, is to glorify my ego, if I do with a selfish hidden agenda, would you not feel sorry for my state, Shivaji? Guruji, you have so much knowledge. You are so well informed and read. But why are you working for yourself? Would you not perhaps call me aside on a friendly note and say, sir, why are you thinking of yourself? Everything will come to you. Why are you so selfish? Would you not, in your own thoughts, and you be not dare enough to come and say, because you are a true well-wisher, you'll come and tell me, isn't it, sir? Don't you feel sorry if I am having a selfish attitude in my work? You would, isn't it? But what really speaks is your spirit of sacrifice, not selfishness. So he is asking the Lord, give me that spirit of yajna,
Sacrifice.
that spirit of sacrifice where I can serve the world so that I can attain heaven or immortality. That is the second boon, which must be differentiated from the additional boon which is being granted in the 16th mantra, second boon. That is different. Here is Sakama Upasana. He is giving the means to attain the world and enjoy the world. To which Nachiketa said, no, thank you. I am not interested. There is that clear difference.
Yajna spirit is the second boon, what he seeks.
Yajna spirit. Give me that boon, capacity to perform yajna. Perfect. What is the third boon, sir? We have not come to that, but we have spoken in the story in the references
First,
earlier.
yeah.
What is the third boon? So we should not forget the backdrop. The fact that we are spending so much time on a story part of the text, it gives us the preparatory ground to get into the actual philosophical thing.
No, I'm not getting it.
No problem. Fair enough. Thank you, Shivaji. Gayatri Ma, what's the third boon?
Atma Vidya, he asked for it.
He says, give me that Atma Vidya. Give me that Brahma Vidya. Give me that essential knowledge of the self. I want to know what is it that does not die at death. What is that which is immortal? Give me that knowledge which is the imperishable, he asks. Can you share the translation of verse mantra 20, please? There, I'm not there yet, but I'm just trying to share the translation. Huh? There is a doubt. When a man is dead, some say he exists, and some say he does not. This I would like to know, to be taught by thee. This is my third boon. He has caught the bull by the horns, not holding on to the tail. He said, give me this Atma Vidya. I want that which tells me what is it that doesn't die. Hold on to the translation. People may be noting it. No need to switch that early. Yeah, thank you. There is a doubt. Look at the clarity with which this boy goes to Nachiketa. Don't worry, we'll get there soon. Now, Ramji, with that impending third boon in mind, what do you think is the role of Yama and the reaction of Nachiketa in the context?
I am by giving this additional boon, two additional boons. The first one is quite an innocuous one, not so innocuous because it is still, he is naming this ritual after Nachiket, so which also has a worldly angle to it. That you name something after somebody, there is a worldly angle to that.
Name and fame.
Name and fame. And the second one is purely worldly, that you attain material benefits if you by desiring for them. So in a way, he is testing Nachiket whether what he asked for is really correct. Is he going by that, or is it a facade? And that's what he's trying to do.
Because when you ask for that fire yajna, it's to serve the world. On one side, you say, I want to serve the world. On the other side, you are trying to, what do you call this? Siphon off the, with as a picture of hypocrisy. So in this very boon itself, by giving him additional boons, does this fellow want to abuse it or want to really use it for the betterment? Even before the third boon has come.
Correct. So the second boon itself was a big boon actually. The biggest boon was the second one.
No, sir. The third boon is the biggest boon. Oh my God.
But
what is the you?
Right, not yet come. But,
not yet come. Not yet come. So, as I said, I went ahead in the text in the second Valli and told what Nachiketa reacted to the second boon because he did not react. If you even go, say, okay, guys, just share the 17th, just translation. So if you read the 17th, in fact, even the 18th and the 19th, Nachiketa is not reacting. It's all Lord Yama only talking. So here also he says, whoever invokes Nachiketa fire thrice and has united with the three and has performed the three kinds of duties, overcomes birth and death. Having known this adorable, bright, omniscient fire, born of Brahman, and realized him, he attains everlasting peace. So there is no reaction from Nachiketa until the 20th mantra. So from after he said, I give you 2 boons, 17, 18, 19, no reaction from Nachiketa. He says, give me a 3rd boon. I want Atma Vidya. So his silence to it only implies that he was not interested in his offerings. Like when somebody silence tells, I'm not interested. Sorry, thank you. No, thank you. And I think if I'm not wrong, it's that in the 23rd mantra, I could be wrong on the number, the very famous words of the Kathopanishad by the young Nachiketa. He says, Tavaiva vahastava nritya gite, he says. Tavaiva vahastava nritya gite. He says, keep your damsels and horses with you. Give me Atma Vidya, he says. Because after he asks the boon in the 20th mantra, Nachiketa is being told, you are young, you are a long life ahead. Why don't you go out into the world, have the kingdom, be the ruler of the world, have enormous power, be the monarch, enjoy the world. You come back after enjoying all that. I will still hold on to my boon and give you Atma Vidya. He says, keep your damsels and horses with you and give me Atma Vidya now. He says in the 23rd mantra. The story itself is inspiring. I tell you, if you can't get into that spirit, I can't help it. I may not have the ability to get you into that spirit, but it is the very backdrop, that qualification of a student and the willingness of the guru is so adorable to read. It's so enchanting to read.
But by saying these things, has he not already attained that level? No.
Obviously, Nachiketa is not trying to put on an act here. He has not got that Atma Vidya. But the text portrays him of a very highly qualified student. Very highly qualified student. And what is that qualification? Perhaps in one word you can say here, that one quality that is being brought to the forefront. What do you think is that one quality of a student which makes him highly qualified?
Seeker.
Sorry?
He is a seeker. He is a seeker of...
We are all seekers, sir. We are all seekers. Nachiketa was a seeker. But what makes him that quality makes him stand out as one of the foremost of students? What is that quality? Seeker is being in the path.
A seeker of knowledge, I was trying to say, but maybe that's not strong enough. Yeah.
So, no, it doesn't really hit the nail on the head. So we are all seeking this knowledge. We are all in the spiritual path. But what is that quality which Nachiketa has, we all have to emulate? Ramji, but your earlier question gets clarified?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, now you see the picture.
All right? Yeah, full picture, I guess. Yeah.
Right, sir. Thank you. Lakshmi Ma, what do you think is that quality? It is not persistence, though he is very persistent with what he wanted. But what is that quality you think?
I thought it was persistence. The single-minded, the goal, he knows the goal, he knows what he wants.
Till now, he has not even asked for Atma Vidya. I've only gone ahead into the text to give you a picture, but even if you were to freeze the text at the 16th mantra, and I ask you this question, what is that quality Nachiketa has got which you and I would have to emulate? Which Yama also was extremely impressed, which any true guru will be impressed. What is that quality?
No desire for worldly things.
No desire for worldly things, okay. You put it in a very layman's term, all right? No problem. Thanks, Lakshmana. A few comments are rolling in. Unwavering clarity of the goal. US says adhikari, mumukshatva. See, you mumukshatva to get to that self, to want the Atma Vidya, which has not yet come. It's only coming in the 20th mantra yas. But till now, what is that? I don't know. I wonder why you're not getting it. Something which he has exhibited till now. Gayatri Ma, what has he exhibited so far? Selfless? No. Selfless is not the point, Pushpama.
So far, he has exhibited that he wants nothing, whatever the thing he has offered to him, apart from that Atma Vidya, what he wants it. He has not asked, but he's clear about it.
Sorry, he is not asked it, but clear about it means?
Yes. He is very clear what he wants it in his Atma Vidya, but he is not been tempted or not carried away, but anything which Yama has offered him.
What is that word? Spell out that word, you're right. Even Lakshmana has said it. No other interest, no other desire. What is that?
Shraddha?
Shraddha is, what is Shraddha? Shraddha is to get to the goal. That spirit of a sannyasi. That spirit, or what is the spirit of a sannyasi? That spirit of vairagya. That spirit of dispassion. That spirit of having no enchantment to the worldly offerings or worldly temptations. It is not falling a prey. Now, how do we interpret it? It's not in contact with the world. It is to be in contact and yet not falling a prey to worldly enchantments. Like I can be amidst an array of sense objects, and yet I sit as a perfect master of my senses. Vairagya or a sannyasi attitude doesn't mean you don't contact the world, please. The extremity of sannyasi is put on a robe and not be in the world. Now, you and I can't do that. How many of us can do that? So the concept of sannyasi is not putting on an ochre robe and sitting in an ashram. What is the sannyasi mentality like? So what is being encouraged here, or what's being conveyed in the mantra, is that we all intellectuals should have that sannyasi attitude while we are studying the Shastras. I repeat this important statement. We all intellectuals must have that sannyasi attitude while we are studying the Shastras. You can be a grihastha, you can be a brahmachari, you can be in a vanaprastha, you can be in any stage of your life. You are having your dharmas, you are having your obligations, you are having your responsibilities. Carry on performing those duties and responsibilities, because you can't, the Shastras don't tell you to shun away from them. So perform your duties and responsibilities with a sannyasi attitude in it. Now, what does a sannyasi attitude mean? A sannyasi attitude means you don't fall a prey to the worldly enchantments. You don't go gaga at what the world has to offer to you, which is what exactly Nachiketa said. I am not interested. In all that I can perform and gain whatever I want, I perform the Sakama Upasana or Sakama Karma and get what I want. I am not interested in it. He was silent to all the offerings. That act of inner detachment to it. So the question of going behind the world, the question of you seeking the world, the question of you being a slave of the worldly offerings doesn't arise. If the world were to come to you, if it were to reach you, so be it. Because you need to use the world to reach your destination. Everything is a mere vehicle. You treat it, as we spoke in the last satsang, if you have that objective of using everything as a mere vehicle, as a mere instrument, as a means to an end, then you are detached to it. If you get into it as an end in itself and start worshipping it, then it is attachment. If you treat your family as an end in itself, you are attached to the family. If I use my family as a ground because I had in me that vasana to have a family, now I've got into the family. Now does my family become a slush? Does the family become a quicksand? Or does the family become a beautiful asphalted road for me to drive through it and go beyond it? So is your family a slush or a quicksand or a beautiful asphalted road? If it's a beautiful asphalted road, you drive through it and enjoy it and go beyond it. If you go into a quicksand and slush, you will get stuck in it. So is your family a means to an end or an end in itself? Gayatri was saying, thank God I didn't get into a family. Bah, I'm relieved. I told you, Arab and the camel, don't pat your ego. I can sense that joy in her face. So I got her, caught her when she was reveling in that ecstasy. Correct,
Yes, Guruji.
I knew. I know you all well enough that I can read your minds now.
Because any family, if not quicksand or anything, people keep on trying to swim and try to keep afloat. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, Srinivas Reddy, I can see the sarcasm in her look also. Guruji, I can see you're also struggling to swim there. I can see that sarcastic laughter in that also. Haresh, be very careful with Gayatri Ma. She's most dangerous. Be very careful.
Highly intelligent in catching that.
Very, very careful. Oh, yeah, she's very, very, my God. So, Haresh, you're following?
Yes.
So, the much needed spirit of dispassion which needs to be injected into work. So, can you imagine, Haresh, pursuing wealth with a dispassion for wealth? Living with the family with a dispassion for the family. Working, which gives you name and recognition, with a dispassion for name and recognition. That is the spirit of being in sattva. That is sattva. Being in it and get out of it. Being out of it by putting on a robe, or being out of it by saying, no, I am not interested in it, that is not meant for all. That's meant for perhaps a very small, exclusive percentage of people. Then the majority of people can't practice detachment. Nah. True detachment is like a lotus leaf in water. You are in it. You are very much in the thick and thin of it, and yet you are able to practice it. So to have a pursuit of wealth with a dispassion for it. Why are you pursuing wealth, Harish? What would your answer be to if somebody were to counter that statement? Be in pursuit of wealth and yet be dispassionate to wealth. If somebody were to say, why are you trying to blow hot and cold? Why are you in pursuit of wealth? What would your answer be to it? A satisfactory answer.
I think it's just to fulfill obligations and duties, and to have a life of sustenance to take me to the goal.
All that comes secondary. Why did you get into business? Having committed to business, then you're obliged to carry on your roles as a businessman, right? But the question is, why did you get into business? Why did you not become a doctor or a professional or an entrepreneur or why did you get into philosophy?
Based on my vasana.
That's all. You are pursuing your pursuit of creating wealth through business because it's your swadharma. You're born to be a businessman. And what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong being born to be a businessman or an entrepreneur or whatever you are. But it is your choice now to inject that spirit of dispassion into it. What you're born with is your karma, is your fate. What you make of it is your choice. And this is where Vedanta comes in. This is where this wisdom comes in. What you're born with is your fate, your purva karma. Whatever you have done in the past, you're born with that quality to be what you are. So I was born with that vasana to have a family, to live a life of a grihastha. I can't be a hypocrite by not trying to be. It has come, it has gone now. Gone in the sense, 2 decades of life has gone as a grihastha. So there's nothing new about it. But when the thought came, I should have questioned, should I get into it or not? I did question, should I get into it or not? I said, yes, it's my dharma, it's my vasana, it's my purva karma. Some karma I did in the past that I have this vasana to have a family. Chalo, yaar, go with it. Can I sit with it and say, put on a robe and say, no, I don't want it? No, I may not be able to, because that's my vasana. That's my predominant nature. Means that's one of my prarabdha. Not predominant, my prarabdha. So you go through it because it's my dharma to go through it. Now, how I deal with it is my wisdom. How I sail through it is my wisdom. What I use it, gets into it as a slush, or use it as a means to end. So there has to be that sense of vairagya injected into every activity that you do. Yes, Harish. Something is not clear.
No. I'm processing. I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm just processing.
So what the text is suggesting, Nachiketa is exhibiting in an exemplary manner. No wonder the teacher is so mighty impressed with him, isn't it? So to be in the family and be detached from the family. You're following, UK? So whatever the challenges and the demands are, you rise above it, isn't it?
Yes, Guruji. Yes.
Never easy, right?
It's not at all easy, Guruji. And you're again and again pulled back to your normal pattern of working.
Again and again you try to rise. If you fall again rise. You may fall, but you rise again.
Yes.
That's the spirit of a true sadhak or a seeker. It is not to fall. Falling is not the problem. Not rising is the problem.
Yes, Guruji.
If you don't fall, then you're not a sadhak. You're already a mahatman. You're already a realized soul. They don't fall. They already attained moksha. So to fall is inevitable. The tamas and rajas will pull us down. That is all right. But you tap on the sattva to pull you back again.
Yes, Guruji.
That is where this knowledge comes in. That's where this satsang comes in. That's where this association comes in to help you to pull you back up.
Yes, Guruji. Yes.
So it is not wrong to fall. It is wrong to stay where you have fallen. Are the famous words of the Guru. Which Guru? I don't know. Correct, huh? Yes, Harish.
Yeah, I was just seeing the paradigm to what we just said about rise and fall. I feel life is like the game Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah, indeed.
I just analyze it as snakes and ladders. That's what life is. You keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, until we reach a point where we have less down and more up at some point.
No, let there be up and down. That is a part and parcel of life. Even if you are going through a phase where it's only down, you understand that is life. because
Yes.
it's not going to be permanently down. No?
Yes, yes.
Now it's going to be permanently up. So there will be moments of despair, there will be moments of joy, there will be moments of ecstasy, there will be moments of agony, there will be moments of success, there will be moments of failure, there will be birth, there will be death. Let that be understood as life. So
Yeah.
you don't get carried away. So the struggle or the ability to strive goes on. I must strive. I must continue to strive. The accent is on striving, not to be consumed by the results that come your way. Today you may have name, tomorrow you have no name. Today you have a following, tomorrow you may have no following.
Yes.
Today you may have respect, tomorrow you will have disrespect. So be prepared. There will be people who will talk slightly about you. They will belittle you. Be prepared. So when it comes, you don't get affected. You continue to strive. That's all. You strive through the ups and downs, like the ship or the cruise or the huge ships in the ocean. They continue to keep marching forward through the crests and the troughs of the ocean, don't they?
Yes.
The ups and downs of the waves, the ship navigates through the rough waters to reach its destination. So you and I should continue to keep striving to reach the goal, to keep converting our effort into yajna. Doesn't matter what. So you must be detached to the fruits of your labor. Be unconcerned to the outcome of your efforts. Keep putting the effort.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Yes, Amira Garu.
The second boon is Sakama. He wants heaven and immortality.
The second boon, yes.
Then it is contradicting the third boon where he wants no Atma Gnanam.
I'm sorry. Can you come again on that,
The second
sir?
boon, he wants heaven and immortality.
In the second boon, he asks for the means.
In the heaven, you are not there, so there is no disease, and so that's all worldly desires and Sakama Karma. Whereas third boon, he says that I want to know Atma Gnana. So are they not contradictory?
No. So in the second boon, which we took a reference in the 13th mantra, if you remember, he says there, give me that ability to perform yajna, which is that fire, through which I may attain heaven or attain immortality. So when he talks of heaven there or immortality, he is talking of a higher plane of consciousness, which yajna is a means to get there. Which is different to the second additional boon, which is being given without being asked for. Nachiketa did not ask for the second additional boon, which we have classified as Sakama Upasana or Sakama Karma.
But asking for heaven is also Sakama Karma, no?
No. Heaven here refers to that. In fact, I know your point of clarification. Now, this point, please remind me in the next satsang. I will clarify the heaven as, which is known as not Swargaloka, but the heaven here refers to Brahmaloka. So in the heavens, there are two different realms of experiences. So I will mention it, I'll explain it the next satsang.
Okay.
Now, when you perform unselfish karma, you get punya. You exhaust that punya and come back to the mortal world. Right? But when you perform unselfish work with upasana, with meditation, you go to Brahmaloka and then you go to moksha, which is known as Krama Mukti or liberation in stages. So the heaven mentioned in the 13th mantra, which was sought by Nachiketa, is different to the second additional boon being granted by Yama, which is mere fulfillment of worldly desires, which is known as Swargaloka, which is only to get punya, where you enjoy, come back to the mortal world again. So there are two different worlds, though seemingly same. The interpretation here clarifies that apparent confusion. So the word heaven in the 13th mantra refers to Brahmaloka, which is relating to a heaven where you don't come back to the mortal world, you go further to attain moksha. But it is, you attain liberation in stage, because you go through the stage of heavenly experience and then get to Brahman. On contrary, there is known as a direct liberation, which is known as Kaivalya Mukti. These are all terms which I will clarify them in the 17th mantra, which I will take when I come back the next satsang.
Okay.
But there is a difference in the terminology, sir. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
But if we get the third boon, he doesn't need second boon, no?
No. As I've said, what's the point having the knowledge? What's the point having something without having the ability to serve the world? So one is to have the knowledge, which is Atma Vidya. I took an example. I have Atma Vidya with me because I've been seeking it. But if I don't have that spirit of yajna to serve it to you all, what's the use? I'm giving this knowledge only to fulfill my hidden agenda in life. That is no use, isn't it? Or what's the point only having yajna but no stuff of Atma Vidya? So you need both. So what he has done, first he's appeased his father with through Kruna. He is indebted to his father. He said, I satisfy him. Then I must serve the world. Then what do I serve the world? I must serve the world with Atma Vidya. I can serve the world with Annadanam also, no? I will only construct goshalas all over the world. People do that. Wherever they go, they are constructing goshalas. You are trying to serve the world by constructing goshala, which is to protect the cow and worshipping the cow. Now, you can serve the world in many ways, but the highest of service you can serve the world is by imparting Atma Vidya. So the highest boon, he leaves it for last, but he makes sure that he is worthy of serving. He makes himself worthy of, so the only way I am growing in the journey is my ability to sacrifice it. The knowledge which I learned 3 decades ago is the same knowledge that I have. I'm just showing a book to you, which I have written this close to 30 years ago. The book I'm having is 30 years. The knowledge is something which I've had for so long with me. This has not changed. Has this changed? No. But my ability to relate to this knowledge, my ability to serve this knowledge, that has changed. So I am becoming purer and purer. I'm trying to cultivate this yajna spirit in greater intensity, which I was not there yesterday. Figuratively, I'm saying, when I say yesterday is figurative. What I was 10 years ago, what I was 20 years ago, what I was 5 years ago, I'm not the same person because my ability to sacrifice is far greater, which is made sure from day one he'll have 100% spirit of yajna.
Okay.
So Nachiketa is too smart.
Okay.
Very smart boy. So it's rather difficult to understand him. I hope we don't misunderstand him. All right, sir.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Welcome. We'll continue. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.